Hello and welcome back to another week of Sambo iRacing. We're back in the Formula 4 for another track guide, this time at the Nurburgring Grand Prix edition. If you are new to my guides, what we do is a hot lap, a breakdown, and we're back in the cockpit one final time, the driving line on. Brake bias is set to 55%, and we are in for a hell of a week of driving. It's a great little track. It's my first time driving it, and I really enjoyed it. Right, enough of me chatting, let's start the hot lap. Alright, let's start the hot lap. So, smashing it down the main straight, we are going to get up to 6th gear just before the 100-meter sign, and that's going to be our first braking marker. So we get to the 100, we brake up to about 75%, hold it, trail it off down to the apex, get on the gas nice and early, up to 3rd gear, nice wide entry so we can do a lift, back on the gas at the apex, up to 4th gear, exiting nice and wide. Now the very tricky corner here, down to 2nd gear early, we're going to get back on the gas at the apex, up to 3rd, little lift, back on the gas. You can make it through without the lift, but it's not the percentage play. Now we're looking for just after the end of these cones, try and carry as much speed through here as possible. In 4th gear, drop it down to 3rd, back on the gas. Now we take a little breather. We go through the 100, and what we're looking for is this little bit on the left-hand side. I'll show you in the breakdown. Down to 3rd gear, long trail off on the gas as early as possible. Now we have another little breather, so we can go through these next two corners, 9 and 10 absolutely flat, cutting the corner at 10, back over to the right hand side, and the 100-meter sign is our braking marker. On the gas at the apex, back over to the left hand side, just a lift as we go through 12, back on the gas ahead of the apex, and again we're flat through 13. Now we're thinking there's just 2 tricky corners left. So we're in 6, we're going to go all the way down to 2nd, just before the 50, braking hard, down to 2nd gear, up to 3rd before the 2nd apex, bit squirrely on exit, up to 4th, little dab on the brakes, down to 3rd gear, get on the gas nice and early, exit wide, don't have the off track there like I kept doing, and over and across the line in a 157.378. I was that excited I didn't even got to spin it round. Right, let's do the breakdown. So this was late on in my session. Basically I drove for 15 minutes, then hit the active reset. Right, first braking marker is the 100 on the left hand side. So we're going to brake nice and wide in a straight line to about 75%. Wipe all that speed off. We only start to trail off once we start turning in. We're still trailing off in 3rd gear. I drop it down to 2nd at the apex here, and then we smoothly get back on the gas, and we're at 100% just after we've dipped down, the car's settled. Go nice and wide, and then we do a lift before getting back on the gas, getting up to 100% just as we sort of re-enter the track from the apex. So send us out wide, we go up to 5th. Then as we come back onto the track, what we're wanting to do is get on the brakes, not too hard, only up to about 55%, immediately drop it down to 3rd. I drop it down to 2nd to get the engine braking to help, turn into the apex, and then we start getting back on the gas here. We go up to 100% as we leave, short shift up to 3rd, and now I just do that little confidence lift, cutting the corner, and then get back on the gas nice and early doors. Head over to the right hand side. Next braking marker is the end of these cones on the right hand side. So we go through there on the brakes up to about 40%, trail it off early, I drop it down to 4th, and I start picking back up on the gas. So I'm at 100% at the apex. When I get over to the left hand side, and basically as soon as you do, we get on the brakes, briefly up to about 70%, immediate trail off. I've dropped it down to 3rd, and then we start building back up. What you don't want to do is hit this inside curb too quickly, because it does cost you time. Alright, braking marker for 8. Now, you see this little elbow or the little apex in the white line. Basically, it's as soon as we hit that I'm going to start braking. This time we're braking again up to about 80%, drop it down to 4th, drop it down to 3rd. We're still trailing off the brakes here. We don't want to get on the gas too early because then you're going to exit too wide. but we get on 100%, nice and tight to the corner as we are at the apex. I actually had a little bit of wheel spin there as two of my tyres lifted off. This is easy, nice and flat. As we try and hit our braking marker for turn 11. So it's, yeah, I thought it was just before the 50, but it's actually as I run through the 100, get on the brakes, up to about 70%, drop it down to 4th, trail off the brakes, and now I start getting back on the gas at the apex. I don't hit 100% until I've actually come back off the curb. Back over to the left, big lift, and then back on the gas, taking some of that curb. Flat through 13, getting nice and tight to the inside curb. So we're going to go through the 100 and we're braking about midway between the 100 and the 50. And this is the hardest that I brake on the track, almost up to 95-100% there. Going to trail it off down to the first apex, drop it down to 2nd. We get back on the gas here. Now I immediately change up to 3rd gear before I go through the 2nd apex, little safety confidence lift, and then back on the gas. And there's no real easy braking marker here, but it's basically a couple of car lengths into the rumble strip. Oh, sorry, a couple of car lengths before the end of the rumble strip. And we brake up to about 40%. Trail it off, drop it down to 3rd, and we start picking back up as early as possible. So I'm back on 100% just before this big block here that denotes the entry to the pit lane. Exit nice and wide, and then it's just a race to the line. Right, that's the breakdown. We have one final version coming up now with the driving line on. Without me talking, enjoy.